through this pretty quickly the next 30 minutes or so, if not sooner. But let's really talk about how to create duplication for long-term income. And if you know, without getting into all of my fancy slides, let me just tell you, so much of this is already right there in your ID Life success system. You can go through that success system. It's an amazing system that was put together by our ID Life executive team and a lot of the top leaders in the field. And it really, everybody's experience, not only in network marketing, but also health and wellness and nutrition, and really puts it all into a duplicatable system of success in terms of building your ID Life business. So, you know, the first and foremost thing that I want to address, because we've got lots and lots of new associates I know on the call tonight, on the webinar tonight. The biggest things that I want to address is that foundation stage. When you're just getting started, you know, I think that's the biggest thing for folks with ID Life when they come on board is they're excited about the business, but they're like, I'm not really sure what I need to do. I mean, what's my first step? So in this success really tells you what you need to be doing in those first crucial 30 days to get your business off and running. So first and foremost, guys, you want to log on to your homepage. You want to sign up as a household customer, get a household customer account going, because remember, in your household, at your address, share 30% discount that you receive as an ID Life associate. So if you have elderly parents living with you, if you have some children still in your house that are over the age of 12 and they want to take, you know, a lot of these products, they get that same 30% discount that you do. So sign them up as a household customer, get familiar with your ID office. You know, as Darlene Unlock said one time, I heard her telling somebody, hey, listen, nothing's going to hurt you back there. I mean, click on everything. It's not good. It's not like your, you know, laptop's going to suck. Click on every little tab, every little icon that you can, get real familiar with it, and then download ID Life. A lot of people don't know where that is, but it's very, very easy to find. You just go to your main homepage, just your ID Life website, the front part of your website where you would send a customer to look. You'll see the ID Life blue man is what we call him, the little logo man, up in the top there in the left-hand corner. You just click on him from your PC, or you can even from your phone. And I know some folks were kind of struggling with this the other day. The mixer I was at, make sure you go to www.idlife.com in Safari, for example, if you have an iPhone, or if you're on an Android through Google, do www.idlife.com/your website. And then when you do it that way versus in the back office way, because I know some people use just their straight back office address to log on there, don't do that. You want to go through the front part. So idlife.com/your web name, and then you'll see the little blue man appear right there on your smartphone, and you can download it right there from your smartphone. Stay connected to social media. In fact, I'm going to back up a slide here real quick so you can get that text number. You just text Join ID Life to 94033. You want to make sure that not only you're receiving those messages, but every time you sign up a brand new associate, or even some customers I've had involved in updates from ID Life. So just make sure that you're part of that, that you're set up for direct deposit, because after all, we're in a residual income business, and that's the beauty of it. I don't know about you, but you know, 3 to 5 years from now, I'd love to have a home in Vail, Colorado, or maybe in Seaside, or in the Texas Hill Country, and just be able to live anywhere in the world and still be getting paid, right? So how awesome is that? So set up for direct deposit, get your residual checks and your bonus checks put directly into your bank. Register for ID Revolution, make sure you do that. And I know it kind of, you know, if you're like me, you'd be looking at this going, buy ID gear, great. No, they're telling you that because it's going to help you build your business in a big, big way. I know we just got back from the cruise. We just had this amazing incentive trip on Royal Caribbean, Freedom of the Seas. We went on a 7-Caribbean cruise, and there were so many stories from everyone on the ship, to the point where I was almost sad that I didn't bring more ID Life gear, because there were so many folks that we're all here together, you know, cruising the Caribbean, and we're wearing all of our ID Life stuff, and we're such a fun, awesome group. And us, I mean, I literally was watching people walk up and say, "Hi, what is ID Life?" looking at people's shirts, and they were getting prospects just from that in terms of physical customers. So make sure you're loaded up with ID Life gear, that you are wearing the message, so to speak, as you're out there talking to people about ID Life, because folks will ask you about that. They'll be like, what is ID Life? And it's a great conversation starter. So make sure you're loading up on ID gear for that. You want to get that or your ID. And remember, if you're a brand new associate, you do that through your back office because your fear of auction is included. And then you want to earn your Fast Start 2 bonus of $100. And that's and getting one other customer on ID Nutrition. And that can be anyone in your home. It could be, your spouse, mother, father, kids, it doesn't matter. Just one other customer on ID Nutrition in your first 30 days, and boom, you've just made $100. That's huge. Then identify your top 5. Okay, you want to start thinking about building your business. If I was gonna, speaking of the NBA Finals, if you're going, if you're a coach and you want to build an incredible championship winning team, you got to start thinking about who I want on my team, who are my top 5 draft picks, and start doing that. And once you get those 5, in fact, in another business that I was in, I heard one of our top earners to it as Cemetery 6 is what he called it. He shot for 6 instead of 5, but he said, hey, if you died tomorrow, who would be the 5 or 6 people that would carry your casket at your funeral? Who would be called? That's your 5. You want to, I tell my team, gather up your Ocean's 11, right? For those of you who've seen the movie Ocean's 11, get your Ocean's 11 together, get your team together, and invite 5 people who want to save 30% on ID Life products, who want to launch a 28-day transformation, or challenge with you, do a 90 transformation, whatever it is. Then schedule your launch party. I've said before, and I'm trying to think what I was listening to, but if you think about any huge business, I don't care if it's Apple coming out with a new iPhone or a brand new Starbucks, opening up down the street from your house. Do they open or do they launch? They launch, and you want to launch your same business too, the same way. So have a huge launch party. Let everybody know about it. Invite everybody over, and then you can share the story using the magazine and all the other tools that we have available to you. The videos, which are so easy to shoot from your app on your phone. I do especially Troy Aikman Fox News interview. That thing has been just a game changer for me. As YD Life product video with Tad Tomaseski is amazing. That short little 6-minute product overview. And then when we start talking comp plan, I shoot a 9-minute short version comp plan with Logan. It's all great. So you're going to love it. Oh, thanks, Wendy did it. Wendy just texted me that I'm just saying a lot. So anyway, everybody teases me about that. But anyway, I love you, Wendy. Okay. So complete your 3 and free. Make sure that you guys are doing that because eligible for a lot of bonuses compensation plan. And I think for some of our quote-unquote older ID Life associates who maybe weren't playing the last version or the game and you're kind of back in the game now, you definitely want to read up on the importance of getting your 3 and free done. You have 60 days to complete your 3 and free to continue to earn levels 2 and 3 of the Business Builder bonus. So we've got these new 2, 3 business bonuses that weren't there in the beginning. Logan keeps just adding more money to our plan. We went from, I don't know, gosh, it was probably like 12 ways to get paid 2 years ago. We first started talking about it, and when we actually launched a year ago, we had 14 ways to get paid, and then it became 15 ways to get paid, and I'm convinced 5 years from now it's going to be like 20 ways. But anyway, so you want to get all the money that's available to you on, so make sure you get that 3 and free done. Okay, fundamentals to freedom. You want to start right, you want to be a good storyteller, build from event to event, make sure you're getting a lot of exposures out there and talking to folks, and then follow up. Fortune is in the follow up, big time, big time. That is probably the downfall, I would say, of people having success marketing. You'll find due to lack of follow up. In their mind, a lot of times it's like, well, I talked to, for example, Wendy and Keith. Wendy and Keith Ditter are amazing rock stars on my team out of New Orleans, by the way, and I just love them. And, Keith and his wife, Wendy, they actually own one of the largest heating and air conditioning business in the southern Louisiana area. In fact, got a huge ad that runs on the side of the Superdome. That's how big it is. They're just amazing people, and I'm sure if you were spring up and talking to somebody like the Dittas, in your mind, if they even just said, you know, I don't know, I'm not really interested right now, get back with me later, you'd take it as a blow off and just say, oh, they said no, right? And never follow up again. Don't do that, guys. Create a drip file and continue to keep dripping on people, because circumstances change. And if you were to, that particular person you tried to quote unquote recruit into business, they probably see it as, oh my gosh, you know, they never followed up with me. And so I ended up joining with somebody else down the road, versus you took it as they said no and you're just done with them and you never went back to that well again, so to speak. So don't give up. Create a drip file. Keep dripping on folks, because I can't tell you how many stories I've heard of people who have joined ID Life under quote unquote somebody else. Or even in my former direct sales business, it was the same way. And a lot of the people were like, well, God told me about it 5 years ago, but they just never followed up with me. What you really find out is that that particular person thought that they had been told no. And it wasn't no, it just wasn't right now. So follow-up is huge, guys. Sure, you're creating dripping on these folks. Drip, 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 drip. Every time we get that comes out as a product or media, make sure you're following up and dripping on those folks. Third-party tools are huge. And then always, you know, take a mental inventory. Logan always says that every day when he gets up in the morning, he just hits Control-Alt-Delete. It starts all over. You know, it's kind of like that Natasha Field song about it, right? You're a blank page every morning. The rest of your story is still unwritten. Always take check of your mental inventory and just sort of Control-Alt-Delete all the stuff from the past, and let's just move forward so that you can truly live the ID life. Now, getting into duplication, you want to make sure that you complete your list of 100 people at some point. And I know people look at the number of 100 and they go, oh my gosh, 100? I don't know if I know 100 people. Well, Reader's Digest, not that Reader's Digest is the expert on everything, but they say that everyone knows at least 150 people on a fan basis by the time they're 18 years of age. So you do know 100 people. You've just got to get it out of your brain and down on paper. So see the model in the Success Planner to help you with that. And trust me, it's going to end up being more than 100 people over time, because your life is not stagnant. People move in and out of your life all the time, especially if you have kids. I mean, my kids are always getting new teachers, new coaches, new sets of parents, their friends, you know. So things are never stagnant. So your list is always going to be a dynamic list. And then duplicate these exact things with everyone that you bring onto your team. And that's what we're going to talk about today is really creating duplication and the importance of understanding the difference between recruiting and truly sponsoring. I think a lot of that gets sort of lost in the wash. So back all the way up a little bit. First, let's talk about duplication. What exactly is duplication? Well, duplication, if you look at the definition of it, it's the action or process of duplicating something. It says, okay, so this is almost like genetics. You're going to hand down your quote-unquote like to the person that you're bringing into the business and growing. Folks always, you know everything because I'm the, currently the #1 income earner in the company, and I'm like, no, guys, I'm always learning, growing, and trying to learn more and grow more as a leader, so I can be a better leader to my team and be a better sponsor to whoever I'm bringing into the business. And you guys should name things so that our DNA can just get better and better and better in terms of who we are as people and as a culture here at ILO. That's very important. Now, why do you want to duplicate? A lot of people go, well, I don't really understand the importance of duplication. Well, you got into this business technically for one of probably several reasons, either because you needed more time, you needed more money, you needed better health, or you needed more relationship. But I think, most people get involved in network marketing as a business because you get residual versus your income. And so I put up a little graphic there for you so you could see the difference. But you can see with just linear income, or what I would call the employees, small business side of income, which is about 97% of the population, that's where your income grows in a linear fashion. And it stops if you become disabled. You just kind of are constantly chasing your income. It's sort of like Pavlov's dog. Every 2 weeks the bell rings and you get a paycheck. You're dependent on a job, which I think is hilarious, because I always say, I don't care if you're from Texas or Trenton, since you were 5 years old, your grandmother told you don't put your eggs all in one basket, right? But what do most people do with their income? have it all in one basket. Just craziness to me. Okay. And so you forms of income. So in order to do that, you build residual income, because residual income not only builds income for you, but it builds time freedom for you. And that, if you have work income still coming in, which is huge, okay? So you really want a piece of this residual income. Now, you know, duplication goes, a lot of people miss in kind of the journey of duplication. It's a real common question. You'll hear a lot in network marketing. Many of you are out there rolling your eyes that have been network marketing or direct sales before, because you've seen it before. But this question gets asked a lot. Would you rather have $1 million right now? I'm going to hand you $1 million, you know, virtually through the computer right now, or would you rather take a penny doubled every day for 30 days? Well, a lot of folks think, God, the penny doubled wouldn't add up to much. I'll just go ahead and take the $1 million. But you'd be really selling yourself short, because this is compound interest here. And in fact, Denise Toot, Lindsay Lebowski, and Steve Harrison on our team LTD, they do a phenomenal job of laying this out, this growth, this compound interest, so to speak. They call it the compound effect in terms of your income with ID Live. And I highly recommend, if you've never heard the webinar that they did on Lindsay or Denise or Steve on that, send them a Facebook message or an email, and try to get a copy of the webinar. Absolutely. You can stay for 30 days. I mean, at the end of the day, guys, that's $10 million. $10 million. But look at it. I mean, when you're on, gosh, day 13, day 14, 2 weeks in, $103. And that's kind of the way this business feels like a lot of times. It feels like we're just going and going and going. And, you know, you've got those friends and those neighbors. And, you know, man, I know how it is, where they're like, well, you know, how much money are you making? And, you know, how long have you been doing this? Guys, let me tell you, when folks ask you how much money you're making in your ID Life business, first of all, they're asking a question from an employee linear income foundation, and your answer is going to be from a residual business owner foundation. It's almost like somebody asking a question about oranges. It's not going to fit their mindset. In fact, I tell a lot of people, when somebody says, well, how much money are you making in your network marketing business? That's equivalent to saying, well, let me know what number you're thinking of between 1 and 10, because a lot of money is very different to different people. If you were to go out there and polling the masses, what do you think's a lot of money? You're getting from $20 to, you know, 200,000 a month, you know? So the bottom line, you really feed to that, because remember, what you're dealing with here is residual income, which is very similar to getting paid a dividend or royalty. And it takes time to build up. And in fact, a lot of times you'll hear network marketing, we're in a cash equivalent business. I remember back in my other company, when I'd gotten to about $1,500 a month in residual income, at first I was thinking, man, you know, I've been milking this cow for a while, and to only be getting $1,500 a month, I mean, because, you know, as a former pharmaceutical rep, back in the day when I was a drug rep, I made way more than that per month, but it was a job. It was actually my own financial advisor that straightened me out. He looked at me when I said sheepishly that I was only making $1,500 a month. He said, Jennifer, you realize this is a cash business, and have you ever done the math on how much cash you'd have to have sitting in the bank collecting about 3% interest, which is what the banks are $1,500 a month in dividend? And I mean, fast forward, when I'd been in that company 8 years in, my cash equity on my business, if I were to go and try to sell it, because remember, these businesses are willable, sell, transferable, would have been somewhere in the neighborhood of $2.3 million. $2.3 million equivalency. That is huge, guys, huge. So don't feel bad about where you are in this journey, because you are not far away at all from that payday, that day 30 payday of $10 million on that penny doubled. Another reason for duplication, it applies to business itself. I mean, there's an old book out there, Wave 3, The New Era in Network Marketing. Oh, gosh, it was written over 20 years ago by Richard Poe. I think he's already on wave, 20 by now. But one of the charts out of the book was amazing and a real game changer for me. He talks about the typical growth patterns of successful network marketing companies. And, you can see the 4 phases down there: formulation, concentration, momentum, and stability. And I don't know about you guys, but part of the reason I'm all over the country, like Paul was saying, you know, get an naughty life, get a naughty life, it's because I want every possible part of the risk here when we are having global explosion with our business. And that's what Rich Rapo's talking about here, the phase of the most rapid growth phase, which occurs after the company has exceeded 50 million in sales. This is the moment when exponential growth kicks in, when fortunes can be made overnight. It is lucky you to the company before it went. Guys, you're here. You are here in the sweet spot. Don't waste it. Don't waste it. Tell everybody you know, because it's like that. Your efforts are going to pay off in a huge, huge way. I've seen it. I've somewhat lived it in a sense, because I was around was in. I watched others take full advantage of it, and in that area. And I don't want you guys ever looking back and regretting not jumping in with both feet into the deep end with business. So, anyway, all right. So, but in terms of being a good sponsor versus just a recruiter, what is that really going to do? First of all, you need to change your to serving more people, because serving more people is really what's going to make that money ultimately come in anyway. And I think you'll find in this ID Life journey, everybody sort of starts, quote unquote, for the money or for help. But down the road, it becomes less about you making money and more about changing their perspective from a financial perspective. And that, you know, I kind of jokingly say that that's the crack cocaine of network marketing, is the lives that you're going to change through this business. And to just know that you were able to be a part of that just by telling them an amazing opportunity. That is huge. Now, this is kind of a little graphic that I see a lot out there in terms of leadership. And you can see it's with motivate in terms of being a sponsor. I don't know if you can really motivate somebody, but I do definitely think that you can inspire people, and you can lead by example, and that will ultimately allow you to be a better coach and work with people, and really to have some good teamwork and expand that vision of what's possible and ultimately. And so what does sponsor really mean? And I always say sponsor comes from the word responsible. So when you sponsor somebody into the business, that's really when the whole, you know, this starts. You're responsible to your responsibility to get them running, thing that they need to know about business. In fact, Kevin Thompson, who's an MLM, I found this quote that he said about sponsoring, but sponsoring is about taking personal responsibility for the new participants in the business. And they have a true responsibility associated with owning their business, educating them about the product, and them along the way as they make the sales and caring and education. It creates a win-win relationship between the sponsor and the enrollee, and that's just so true. One of the truest quotes I've ever seen in terms of sponsoring. Now, sponsor, what does it mean? Well, there's sort of recruiting, sponsoring, then there's mentoring, and then you ultimately end as a successful associate. And, you know, not to get all biblical on you, but I always say it's a biblical, I mean, in the Bible itself, it talks about there's seed, there's time, and then there's harvest. And I think a lot of times when we get associate in the business, corn, and we just bury it in the soil, and okay, where's my ear of corn? And that, you know, there's got to be a little water and a little sunshine, a little nurturing, and a little growth, and all of a sudden that delicious ear of corn. And so it's the same way here in this business. Now remember, sponsoring is a process. It's not an event. Okay? Recruiting is getting them in the game. Recruiting is getting them into the game. Sponsoring is pushing them in the game. And then mentoring is helping them master the game. And I had thrown that cute little picture there of Steph Curry and LeBron James, since they're playing right now. But all of those guys, they were initially recruited into the NBA, okay, and then they were coached, obviously, by their various coaches on the way. They'd all point to one mentor that had already done it, been there, done that, and was able to show them what they took to get there and help them master the game. And so, you know, I really want to speak to that sponsoring side of doing business. And this is kind of the eyesight and it's sort of like, you know, you get somebody brand new who signs up in the business. They go to your website, they click join ID Live, and then all boom, congratulations, you have a new associate. But it's kind of like, boom, congratulations, you have a newborn. I mean, you got to teach them to eat. You got to teach them to walk. You got to teach them to talk. You got to get them, you know, moving forward. Get them going to school, right? They're going to go to the boot camps. Which is their school or their training events like medical panels or the mixers. And then ultimately you want them to go to, you know, college to me is going to ID Revolution. I mean, if you're a brand new associate in this business or you just sponsored a brand new associate in this business, you really need to make it a goal to get them to ID Revolution. It's going to be huge. Grow them and get them there, okay? So first of all, like I need to get them on a schedule. Have them make a written list and schedule that ID Life launch party, okay? Schedule, and that all comes from writing down. So make that written list of who they're gonna get started in the business and get them inviting for their ID Life launch party. Then you gotta feed them. Right? Go through the ID Life distributor kit with them. Go over, you know, building your network marketing business by Jim Rome in there, okay? A lot of folks don't even know that that CD is in there. I've run into a lot of associates that don't know that. They've never opened their kit. Okay, you've got Stout Advice by Logan Stout himself. That thing is huge. I mean, to take all the knowledge, considering, I mean, guys, part of why I'm sitting here today in ID Live is because I was looking at interviewed on Fox Business News 2 or 3 years ago in a segment by the age of 25. He's on national Fox Business News being interviewed about that. Stuff, and he's written it all down in Stout Advice, which he really wrote for his boys. So you want that same fatherly advice slogan, so read that and get your new associates to read. Recommend some personal development books or audio books if they don't have time to read per se. GoPro by Eric Worre, Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. Those are a few of my big ones that I really, really like and recommend to people. But, you know, many of you have your own. So you know, get your folks reading and feeding, right? Feed them. Then give them the tools. Give them some toys to play with. Plug them into the ID Life system. Put them on your team calls. Get them plugged into the webinars, the mixers, and events. Show them the steps to success. You know, the best way to do anything is to lead by example. So, you know, set some goals right along with them, personally, financially, physically, spiritually, mentally, relationally, whatever that is, and lay out that roadmap to regional director in 30 days, executive director in 60 to 90 days, national director in 90 to 180 days. Remember, we've got the national director blueprint sitting right there in your back office, guys. It's real easy to find. Just go to tools, okay, and scroll down to resource library in your back office. If you have not been to the resource library under tools in your back office, you're missing so much stuff. It's like a gold mine back there. So make sure you print out that national director blueprint and start working on that. Go on some play dates. Play dates, some 2-on-1s, you know. Go right along with your new associate and help them show the business to other people. Help them sample products. With those mixers. Don't say go your mixer and have fun. I mean, you as their sponsor, you know, especially the amazing thing about ID Life is that you can sponsor people all over the United States. So it may not be feasible. Let them speakers. You can say hi to everybody at their mixer and let them know that you're there to support them. And get plugged into local events and attend local events with them. Then take them to schools, I mentioned. You've got the boot camps, the universities, you've got Russian. Make sure you're getting them to all those major events where they're going to really learn and grow and quote unquote graduate, right? Because that's what you want, a successful graduate. And I have to say, my oldest daughter just graduated from high school yesterday, so looking at this picture is about to make me cry. But literally, you want that successful ID Life associate to be able to go out and get DNA and to really teach others what you've taught them. Okay, and don't forget that water always boils from the bottom. So always dig down deep in your organization. Look for folks that maybe haven't been sponsored correctly. You know, upline leaders along the way. I know there's some folks out there that get a little weird about, you know, oh, somebody, you know, above me in Audi Life reached down and started talking to somebody I sponsored. So always want to check with your team, but it's really a group effort. You know, I hate to use the term that it takes a village, but it does take a village sometimes to really get folks out and running with their Audi Life business. So it's sort of all hands on deck, you know, rising tide raises all ships, as I love to say. So get down into your group, dig down deep, and help that water boil from the bottom. Okay, so here's some key reminders to kind of wrap it up. Never stop recruiting sponsors. You want to be an ambitious sower is what I always say. I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with the parable of the sower. If you're not, pull out that CD that's in your distributor kit by going over this example on that CD, and that's actually where I got it from. It made such amazing sense to me. For those of you who parable of the sower, there's a couple of things that you know about the sower that's mentioned in that parable. The ambitious sower, he never stops sowing, and he has really good seed. And that's really all you guys are, is you're sowers of Audi Life seed. You're just out there telling people and sharing and sorting, you know, out there through people to let them know about Audi Life and what's available to them. And, you know, sometimes that seed is going to get, you know, quote unquote, eaten by the birds, right? Some of that's going to fall on some rocky ground. Some of those little seeds sprout up, but they're going to get scorched by the sun, which, you know, basically when friends and family say, oh my gosh, you joined that thing, you're going to go to, you know, or jail 1, right? That's being scorched by the sun. So it's your job, their sponsor, to say, it's okay, the birds got it. You know, it's okay. I'm here to give you shade. I'm here to give you some water and some hydration, right? I'll give you a little ID hydrate and keep you growing and going. And then keep it manageable, guys. Just don't overwhelm yourself. I personally really only like to work with a short list of about 3 to 5 people that I'm really truly sponsoring and mentoring at any given moment. Just because otherwise I'm too scattered and I'm not real focused, and I think everybody deserves 100% of your attention. So if you personally sponsor somebody in the business, you know, don't to sponsor the whole world. You'll get to the whole world eventually. Just start with 3 to 5 people. Make it a goal for yourself and really work, you know, hard with those guys. Keep it fun too. Remember, guys, this is a volunteer army, and you know, I know we all lose sight of that sometimes because we get so locked into what our goals are for the business. But for most of the people on your team are working at part-time spare time. They already have a boss. And the last thing they want to do is come into Audi Life and have another quote-unquote boss screaming at them, right? I always say boss stands for double SOB spelled backwards, right? So we don't need another one of those. So just keep it fun, keep it light. This is a volunteer army, and it's that culture of fun and fellowship and friendship and true caring of people lifting one another up that's going to keep them plugged in the long run. Keep the lines of communication always open. And then recognition is huge. And this is an area I'm even trying to get better at. I think part of my own issue, just to be transparent, is sometimes I'm afraid I'm going to forget somebody. And so I err all the way on the other side by not recognizing anybody. But you've got to recognize people. Don't be scared to recognize. Babies cry for it, men die for it, as Lindsay Lebowski loves to say. And that's so true. I mean, we've really got to get out there and recognize our folks and keep them lifted up and always say, great job, and notice when they rank advance and things of that nature, okay? But then you also have to know when to let go. You know, once you've raised them up and they've become good, strong leaders in their own right, just check in with them, work alongside of them. Don't try to continue to push or to lead or to act like you know it all. I mean, because quite honestly, I can tell you, I learn so much from every single member of my team every single day. God has gifted us all with very different talents and abilities, and I don't know about you guys, but there's been some great ideas thrown around out there I'm always learning from and trying to implement in my business on a daily basis. It's never too late to learn, grow, and change, and a lot of times it's going to come from the very people that you quote unquote started out mentoring. In fact, I told a guy on my team the other day, I said, the mentor has just been mentored, because he sent me something that really mentored me. It really, you know, it educated me. So it's a guy on my team named Chris out of Tampa, and he's amazing. And, you know, he always calls me his mentor, but he sent me something the other day that really mentored me. So it goes both ways. Okay, and this is kind of what Jim Rohn says about the parable of the ambitious sower. He had to learn how to discipline his disappointments. For good seeds that fell on the wayside that the birds got, or for those that fell on rocky ground or thorny ground, do not let little things cheat you out of big opportunities. If you just keep on sowing, the seeds will eventually fall on good ground. And it's not only in terms of seeds for ID Life, in terms of recruiting, but even the seeds of your mentorship, your coach for your team. Sometimes some of the things you may share with your team are not well received, but sometimes almost like when you're telling your kids stuff and they don't always want to listen to it, go back and go, Mom, you know what, Dad, you were right. So, you know, never stop sowing, be it trying to teach and coach and mentor, or if it's just recruiting for the opportunity. And bottom line, don't be afraid, because my 14-year-old son, oh my gosh, he's a fan. If you go to his Instagram, it is nothing but Michael Jordan quotes and pictures of Michael Jordan. But I think part of why he loves Michael Jordan is this is a quote that I have quoted, speaking of sowing seed, to my kids for years. It's one of my favorite quotes about failure. Raise my hand and say that I'm not over here adjusting my halo. I have failed and failed and failed. I'm the most messed up, broken person, but thank God for that, because it allows me to learn and grow and become better. So don't be afraid to fail. Michael Jordan said, I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times trusted to take the game-winning shot, and I've missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. And guys, that is why you will succeed. So get out there, fail forward, be brave, dare greatly, and sponsor, guys. Duplicate this business, because there's a lot of folks out there who are probably on their knees this morning praying at church, saying, God, please, please, something's got to change. And you're the one that holds the key to that. You're the one with that seed that is ready to be sown into their life. So go out there, tell everybody you know. I hope you guys have a blessed summer. I hope I get the opportunity to talk to you guys again. You know, for all the graduates out there, I just, you know, hope that you have an amazing life and career ahead of you. And I hope part of that will incorporate life. I know my own 18-year-old is excited about getting involved in ID Life, and this goes alongside of that. So, you know, share it with all graduates out there, folks out there that are wanting to change their lives physically this summer, financially this summer, mentally, relationally, and spiritually. I love you guys, and let me know your feedback, okay? Take care, have a great night, and God bless you. Oh, wait, whoa, real quick, I can't forget. Sunday, June 14th, the next one, rank advancements and emerging leaders. You don't want to miss that. You don't want to miss that. Rank advancements are huge, especially for the recognition portion of what we talked about. And you want to hear from these emerging leaders, because that's where you're going to get all your great tips and things like that in terms of helping you become a better sponsor. So anyway, with that being said, God bless you guys. Good night.